Good morning, everybody. Stu Smith here going live. Hope you guys are well today. I'm a few minutes early, and I'm going to have to leave a few minutes early. Today is one of those busy days that I need to get moving probably about 9:30, so a little over 30 minutes maybe. All right, so here's the deal. I have an article I want you to check out, especially if you are focused on performing better in the CSS. And this matters because if you don't do well in the 500-yard swim, whether you are going Marine Recon, SEAL, SWIC, EOD, diver, Air Force PJ, CCT, you need to swim, right? And this is a method of swimming and a method of coaching I've been doing now for 25 plus years. And I know it works. I've seen many people who couldn't swim across the pool their first time with me and become special operators, get through selections, SEAL, SWIC, you name it. Um, if you put in the time and learn how to do it. And these are some of the methods. In fact, this article here, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into sharing. This article here can be found over at Stu Smith Fitness. It's called uh, CSS Help Series Quick Fix to Crushing the Swim. And it has everything in here on the CSS. In fact, it is a one-stop shop for 6, 7 more articles to get you focused on each of the individual events of the CSS. For instance, the very first one is the pull, breathe, kick, glide, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, repeat article that I would highly recommend you to get if you don't understand the entire sequence of the stroke. So a lot of times when I'm critiquing people, first thing I check to see if their top arm, their bottom arm, and they're inhaling during that bottom arm pull, kick, and then tight recovery to a streamlined body position are happening. Then I check, how's the glide going? Are they getting 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi? Are they pulling on 3? Are they cutting the glide short or are they over gliding? You know, these are just little things that I can see in about 10 yards of swimming if you got the sequence down. And if you don't, no big deal. We can fix that. You know, we can work on your top arm and your bottom arm pull. We can work on that breathing timing issue that a lot of people have of pulling that bottom arm while they're inhaling. Then both hands are down. So what do? You got to kick and recover and get that tight arm recovery so you're not dragging. And then you got to hold a real tight streamlined glide. So this is one of those all-encompassing articles, if you will. Um, and then these individual articles here, I don't know if you guys can see the titles of them. Might be a little small. I'll make them a little bigger for you. Um, fix your kick, add flutter kicks or not. These are issues that a lot of people have problems with. Fix your arm pulls, your top arm, your bottom arm. Usually that's a timing issue. I've seen a lot of people go both hands at the same time, or they pull that top arm and they leave that arm out there for 2-3 seconds as if it's a glide phase. Not knocking it. It's kind of pulling a little bit of the elementary side stroke into the CSS, but it is not as efficient as gliding with both hands over the head. Fix your glide. That's another one. How do you do that? A lot of times it's a mobility issue of the shoulders. I've seen a lot of people when they're gliding, they glide like this, right? What direction is that going to take you? Whatever side you're on, it's going to have you veering that way every time. Your head's going to be plowing the surface. Instead, you want to be locked out like that, and going straight. Good posture. All of those can be fixed with mobility days and working your rear delts, upper back, to fix your posture so you can glide easier and straighter. Fix your CSS sequence of stroke. We just went through that one. And then here's the latest one I've kind of come up with is, do we keep that pullout in there or not? In fact, it's a debate. CSS debate, I call it, to pull out or not pull out, breaststroke pullout issues. Um, and the big thing on that one is, do you have issues with your um, pull out? Like, are you getting a good arm pull and gliding far? Are you able to kick and recover and turn into the first stroke without stopping and losing all of your momentum off the wall? That is a great case for, like, let's just take it out. And I've seen people who had that double arm pull in there, breaststroke pull out, whatever you want to call it, and then it was just horrible. Um, it was getting them winded because it's one less breath per length. Um, and then we took it out and they dropped 45 seconds off their last swim just by taking it out. So for some people, mainly non-swimming athletes, who just aren't good at swimming yet, probably shouldn't do it. To be honest with you, just kick off the wall, hold that tight streamline for about 3-4 seconds, come up for your first breath, and get that stroke in. And here's the deal: it doesn't really add an extra stroke. And even if it did, you get an extra breath out of it. So it's probably going to keep you more aerobic than anaerobic by kicking off that wall, going halfway across the pool every time, coming up and gasping for breath. And that becomes unsustainable for a full 500 for most non-swimming athletes. For a swimming athlete, not a big deal. That's their domain and they can crush it. But if you're looking at an article, one-stop shop to get you there, this is it. Because once you get all the CSS technique issues down, I throw the 50-50 workout at you. And in fact, all of these workouts here have a lot of 50-50s in them. Also have swimming with fins, which you also need to do as well. The 50-50 workout is just one of those things that once you learn the technique, you get really winded on this 50-meter freestyle, and then you catch your breath on the CSS, try to minimum rest, couple breaths, and then get and do it again 10, 15 times. It's a great one. You know, got a lot of other articles in here, YouTube videos, Instagram, TikTok link, because it's just a whole bunch of free coaching for you for seeing how to do the CSS. And then I also throw in a little section in there with CSS with fins, um, uh, LATA with fins. That's the lead arm, trail arm version of the side stroke that Air Force PJs use. Um, and then there's just a whole bunch of other stuff from PST help, programming, who we are, what we do. It's just a massive article of what you can find out there to help you become a better swimmer. So I know I usually do some CSS critiques on this show, but due to my time, I am unable to show some videos. If you want to see some, go to the TikTok page over here, Stu Smith 50. It is loaded with and if you don't have TikTok on your phone, no problem. Just go to your desktop and pull it up. I'm on my desktop right now. In fact, you can see that I don't have the TikTok app on my desktop, and it's just a web page. TikTok.com at StuSmith50, and you see a whole bunch of me voiceovering people with swim issues. These are just submitted or my local guys swimming. Um, so it's just a whole page dedicated to fixing people's swims. So, yeah, but I get a community guidelines violation. What the? Um, but anyway, if you don't have TikTok on your phone, that's fine. I get it. Go to Instagram Reels, where there are just, once again, my Instagram over here. Same address, Stu Smith 50, and you can just click the Reels link here, and you will see a whole bunch of CSS. Sometimes they're podcasts, sometimes there's stretching. It's a little mix of everything in here, not necessarily all swimming, but I will say mostly swimming. So check those out if you want to see some CSS critiques, because that is where they are. Um, like someone asked, good question, Ethan, because I was just about to get into this. Somebody just asked, where could I send you a critique? I've been working on mine, finally starting to get more efficient. Would love some feedback. So if you're looking to send me something, what a lot of people do is either they will post it on their YouTube channel or Instagram channel and tag me in it. Or if you don't want to go that public, just email me, stu@stusmith.com. In fact, I'll put the banner up for you. You can see stu@stusmith.com right here. Email them to me there, or if that's a pain in the neck because it's a big uh, video, just send me 50 meters of you swimming. So less than a minute of swimming is all I need. Down and back is ideal. Or what a lot of people do is DM me over on Instagram. Once again, Stu Smith 50 is that address as well. TikTok and Instagram have the same address. So that's how people get videos to me, and then I'll critique them. Sometimes I share them online, sometimes I don't, and I'll just email you all the like laundry list of things you need to work on. Probably send you a couple of links of guys doing what you're doing wrong, but doing it right. So you can kind of see it, because a lot of times with this, seeing is believing. And I can't tell you how many times I have taught people how to swim by showing them how to swim versus saying pull, breathe, kick, glide. A lot of people don't understand it unless they see it. With swimming, it's one of those things you really have to be kind of visual learner. um, I've just found it almost impossible to teach it in writing or teach it in pictures. You need some moving pictures to show swimming. So your number one way to learn swimming is take lessons. Your number two way is to watch other people swim. Your number three way is do it and have somebody film you, and you can kind of critique yourself, compare it to other people's perfect swims. And then number four, you know, just keep practicing and practicing. But you don't want to practice bad habits either. So the more time you get in the pool, the better, but the more perfect time you get in the pool, the quicker you will master this. And it shouldn't take very long for you. But for most, it is the last thing that they accomplish. Like for instance, the fastest guy I ever saw prepare for buds and make it through. He was a high school athlete, three sports, D1 athlete, lacrosse player, um, big time, big time athlete, right? So he came into this journey like almost ready. Had to work on a little bit of his muscle stamina on pull ups and push up sit ups. Run was good. Swim sucked. We had to get that swim up better. Um, got that fixed pretty quickly and got him in swimming shape. And probably within, I think, 3 months, he shipped out and was ready to go. So, you know, when people say, how long do I prepare to go to BUDS or whatever Spec Ops program? You prepare all your life. I look back at my preparation long before I knew what a Navy SEAL was, and I was working out at 12, 13 years old. I was lifting weights, I was playing sports, got into football and powerlifting and sprinting and running track, and baseball and wrestling. All of those things build uh, a level of athleticism, grit, um, just not letting the grass grow under your feet type of mindset. And you're just always doing something. And then I worked all summer and worked out after work. And, those are just great times. And then 4 years in college, very similar. Worked out in the morning, played a sport, worked out in the evening on those weaknesses, got better. Um, and then, by the end, it was just transitioning out of this power athlete that I have created and turned myself into more an endurance athlete. So I laid off the weights, did more calisthenics, did more cardio because that's what I needed. I needed more muscle stamina, I needed more endurance. And however, some people are just the opposite. Endurance athletes need to get better at more explosive things and stronger things and durability when they're under loads, stuff like that. So everybody's journey is a little bit different. I'm sorry, I just went from one topic to another on that one. I don't see many questions here. I had a few questions sent that I want to share. Let me see. That some of these were really good. Um, can you highlight the importance of time commitment and physical conditioning for special ops candidates? Okay, time. What do you mean by that? Uh, Two things. One, your daily workouts, right? There is no 30-minute routine in a gym that's going to prepare you for a day of spec ops training. Period. Said it for decades, still say it today, and it is true. Because there are events that require, yeah, you can get a lift in that time, maybe a little longer, 45 minutes, but you still need to do your cardio. Um, you need to mix in some calisthenics somewhere, depending on where you are. Usually, what we do to extend that time in a single workout is we'll warm up with calisthenics, we'll lift, we'll run sometimes in between lift sections. So, if we're doing like 4 sets of deadlift and hanging knee ups or something like that, or RDLs, we'll do that cycle and then we'll go for a short run, come back, and maybe get some squats in or some lunges, fireman carries, just load bearing section on that workout. Add a little run in on the back end, cool down a little bit, and then go for a swim. So takes um, that takes time, right? It takes a couple hours, right? And you may need that time. Now, time part two is how long does it take you to prepare for that spec ops selection? Meaning not in a single workout, but in months, years, even. And it really depends on your athletic history. Like I just mentioned, if you've been an athlete for 8 to 10 years and then go into this spec ops transition of training, completely different than someone who's fairly new to training or maybe just did one thing and have a host of weaknesses because of that, right? Let's say you're just a cross country runner. You're going to crush the runs every day, right? But you're going to have to learn to like cut that mileage and by 2/3 at least, and then get in the weight room, get stronger, get more durable, add swimming to the process, run a little faster, on shorter distances. You may be used to running, I don't know, 6-minute miles, but you may want to run a little bit faster than that for timed runs just to be a little more competitive. I don't know. I think sub 6 is fine, but it really depends on your effort level. All right, somebody just asked, is your phase 2-3 program the same as the 12 weeks to buds? Not sure which one I should start after doing phase 2. No, it is not the same. 12 weeks to buds is, I don't even have a copy of it here, maybe over on my bookshelf. That is all calisthenics and cardio on a very high level. This is not. This is a very high level of calisthenics and cardio with some load bearing endurance training. It's got the 50/50s in there. It's got mobility days in there. There's a whole lot that I have done over the last 20 years to evolve from that workout program to today. So this one has all my latest evolutions and the changes in SEAL training. Um, not that that 12 weeks to buds workout is outdated. It's just if you need, let's say you're a strength athlete like I was, it's a great program for you to get started on because it's going to put you in a running, swimming, and high rep calisthenics mindset in 12 weeks. It will turn you into that kind of a PT cardio animal that you need to be. Whereas this one is similar with the calisthenics and cardio, but it's adding in a lot of the load bearing activities that you may also need to prepare for too, like logs and boats and rucking and things like that. So, for instance, the 12 weeks to buds workout has a lot of run, swim, runs in it. It's a great triple workout. It's like a triathlon, but you run twice, run, swim, run. Whereas my latest workouts have run, swim, rucks in them. It's a spec ops triathlon, if you will, just to get used to some load bearing activities. In fact, we run, swim, ruck every week, here in Maryland, just to get the body used to that. Even during our lift cycles, we will run, ruck, and swim. Not a lot during the lift cycle, but just enough to maintain it. Good question. I get asked that one a little bit. I would say it's similar, but uh, updated and very uh, added, a lot of added activities in there. But that's a good question. All right, what else we got over there? Got any more time? I got another question here. So, what common misconceptions do you think aspiring candidates have about physical preparation for spec ops training? Common misconceptions. Things that I've seen people mess up on over the years and me have to correct them. I would say doing massive amounts of calisthenics every day, like a couple hundred pull-ups, 500 push-ups a day, and wonder why they have joint tendonitis and their pull-ups and push-ups are getting worse. Um, that's one. Another one is trying to improve your endurance while you're lifting heavy. So let's say you're in a winter lift cycle, like what we are doing right now. You're in a fall winter lift cycle. Um, we are not in the phase where we're also trying to get faster in the mile and a half. Right now, or 4 mile timed run. Right now, we're maintaining our running. That's our goal. That's our secondary goal, is to maintain our calisthenics and cardio. Our primary goal is to lift and get stronger. So it is really difficult to improve across the board on everything at the same time. That's why we go in cycles of calisthenics and cardio, working muscle stamina and endurance. Those two work really well together. Um, and for some, it's an actual strength cycle. Like you're coming from a cross country world and I introduce you to calisthenics, you're going to get bigger and stronger really quick and hit some competitive numbers probably faster than any other group that I've ever seen go from not doing upper body strength to upper body training. Um, then you transition into some weighted cycles, get a little stronger, get a little more durable, put on a little more body weight. That's hard to do when you're doing God knows how many hours in the pool and, um, running 40, 50 miles a week. Right? It's just not sustainable to do all that. It's almost difficult to eat that much food so you can gain weight if that's your goal. So it's just difficult to do everything at once. So That would be probably the two biggest misconceptions. Another one would be this. A lot of people just start doing Navy SEAL workouts that they see on YouTube that Navy SEALs are doing. They're all jacked, 220 pounds, and they just skip the whole PST prep, thinking, oh, I'll just do this crazy lift and go ruck, and I'll be done. Whereas they're just not specifically training for the phases of tactical fitness. Phase one is you got to get accepted into the program. That means your workout should look like that PST if you want to improve that PST. Then phase two, you need to have some time in there where you've actually started to prepare for the actual selection itself. Running more, swimming more with fins, pool skills, um, treading, rucking. All of those are so important whenever you are preparing. So I would say that is where people mess up the most is they just get on the wrong cycle or forget that there's a phase one and phase two to this whole system. So you can build up to phase three, which is what the operator does to maintain their fitness level to do their job versus going through a selection. Two different types of training altogether. Three, if you count the training to prepare for a fitness test. But it just can't be ignored. Um, all right, let's see. Any more questions on the internets? This is one from uh, email. How does integrating strength, power, speed, agility into your training cycles enhance overall performance? Well, that's what we do during the lift cycles in the winter and fall is we shorten our runs so we go faster. We work on shuttle runs and obstacle courses and trail runs to work on some agility. Um, and we lift for strength, we lift for power, we lift to eat big and lift big. So people put on 10, sometimes 15 pounds of weight during those lift cycles because they needed it, not like extra weight, not like 200 to 215, but I'm talking 160 to 175, 180. Um, that's where it's mostly needed. Um, like if you're 190, you probably don't need, unless you're 6'5", you probably don't need to gain some weight. You're an average size guy, let's say 6 feet, 185, 190. Yeah, that's pretty good. 5'10", 185 is probably about the average size of most guys going through buds. Um, but that's what it does. It's going to just make you bigger, faster, stronger. Um, with your overall performance, that's going to lead to durability. That's going to lead to you being able to handle logs, boats, rucks, carrying personnel, any load bearing activity. And that's really what it's for. Obstacle courses that'll help you faster obstacle courses. It's just good to have those elements of fitness under your belt because if you don't, well, you're missing out on some really important tactical skills that you need, like running real fast for cover and carrying um, multiple cans of ammo from A to B really fast and being able to not get hurt when you stop. All of that can come into play, when you train strength, power, speed, and agility. But you also can't forget muscle stamina and endurance and flexibility and mobility. There's a whole lot of training that goes on. Grip is another one, to be a well balanced tactical uh, tactical athlete. Um, let's see more questions here. Hey, what's the exercise where you practice with water in your mask and stop it from going down your nose? How do you safely practice that? That's not that hard. My advice is fill your mask with water, get out of the pool, and do flutter kicks and push ups on the pool deck. and see if you can keep it in your mask and it doesn't go down your nose. It takes time. It takes practice. See if you can do it. Um, Usually I do it with like put the tongue on the top of my mouth and act like I'm about to swallow, right? But I'm not swallowing. I'm just right at that point of about to swallow, and I don't. That usually um, keeps it in your mask. Thoughts on high, medium cushion shoes? I have both. I mean, right now I'm wearing On Clouds, and the particular brand I have, I'd say that's a medium cushion shoe. Um, and then I also wear Zeros, which are no cushion shoes. I do that for lifting. I run on turf, grass, trails with that. Um, so, I mean, I wear both. I think it's good. What PST scores would you need to have to increase your chances of getting an age waiver approved for SEALs 29? I would say just be in that high range of sub 9 run, sub 9 swim, 80 plus push ups, sit ups, 20 pull ups. That'll get you there. I think probably under, if you put them all together in the equation, it would have to be have to be in the 700s, you know, low 700s, the better. But high 700s is okay too. How do you go back to Buds as an officer after being dropped as enlisted? Went to Buds before, dropped in Hell Week. That's really it's up to you. If you have a college degree, you can apply to go to Buds as an officer. Um, it's kind of up to you. If you have to get out, go to college, then come back in, that's a way to do it too. But you just apply for the OCS slot. They'll take you through SOAS, SEAL Officer Assessment and Selection, and then go from there. Easy day. Um, what's a good height, good weight for 6'3"? 200, 210, somewhere in that range. That way you're not too heavy, but you're not too scrawny either. All right, folks. Like I said, I do need to leave early. It's 9:30. I apologize, and we'll catch back up next week. Until then, you guys have a good week. Check out Stu Smith Fitness for tons of articles, um, great ideas for swimming and PT and lifting and all types of programming over there, depending on your goals. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.